Okay, we're Project I. This is still Math 120. It's about graphing a piecewise function. There's also an additional point here that sometimes Sage will take some considerable amount of time to do something that you may think is a trivial computation. I don't know much about the back end of Sage, but a lot of times things happen, and we'll talk about that as I start coding this thing. So again, the expectation is you're going to launch Sage. I'm just going to go to my terminal application. I'm going to launch Sage. And let me clear the screen. Once Sage comes up, clear. I'm going to reset. And there's a point to what we're doing over here. I'm just going to, say that we've done piecewise functions before. X is a variable. Let's see, variable. X is a variable. And I'm going to start copy pasting, okay? And let me just paste that in. And let me paste this in. Oh, I'm doing pretty good, right? I want to warn you against a copy paste though. If you do something like this, you're going to have big trouble on it because it's copying the 296. So I'm just going to copy this part here. Don't be alarmed. And then I'm going to copy the second part of it, which is this part over here. Let me go back and hit return. Okay. What's happening right now is you might be saying, why isn't Sage doing anything now? And this is often alarming to people. They look and say, why isn't Sage launching the graphic viewer? And what's happening with Sage, by the way, it's having a tough time plotting something. And I'll tell you why it's having a tough time plotting it. It's this thing over here, right? This is a really tough thing for Sage to be doing. And I want to tell you, there's probably better ways of doing it, but I'm not an expert with Sage. So when I'm trying to plot this thing out over here, Sage is struggling with this. All right. But what I want to do is say over here is this happens sometimes. I just don't know. I don't know that much about software. And I'm not saying it's not well designed. I just don't know enough about Sage to know why it's taking so long doing that computation. But I want to go to a different application, and I'm going to go to Sage. I'm not Sage. I'm sorry. I'm going to go to Grapher. And with Grapher, what I did was I typed in the piecewise function over here. Now, granted, I want to point out something nice about this software over here. It does it incredibly quickly. It's really well designed software. All right, let me change the color of that though. Change it to blue. All right. Now, granted, other things I could do over here is I can show you how quick it does this. I mean, it immediately redrew the graph, by the way. It wasn't like waiting around. I mean, I can zoom in further. And again, it really does it quickly. But I want to point out, no matter how much I zoom into this thing over here, it's oscillating at a very high rate. I think you get the idea. All right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to zoom out. And again, I want to show you what I'm doing that over there, that this thing here is doing a very, very rapid computation. All right? Sage isn't doing a rapid computation. I don't know why. Sage is finished. Sage got it done. All right? Let's go back over here. And I'm going to zoom in now. And let me just do that over here. I think you get the idea. All right? At least I hope you're getting the idea. Again, I don't know enough about Sage to know why it took so long to do that. All right? But clearly when I was playing around with Grapher did it much quicker. It's a much better application anyway, in my opinion. As for graphing, just for graphing. But Sage, again, I'm not trying to say it's not great. It's just so complex sometimes to get things to work properly. All right? Now, granted, the main reason for that is my level of ignorance. It really is my level of ignorance. All right? By the way, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to zoom out a little bit more on this one over here. And I'm wondering what's this going up to, about 1.6, right? Let me see. I'm not even there yet, am I? I'm seeing it right over here. All right, you get the idea, right? All right. What's that a picture of? That's a really nice picture, it really is. Let me just zoom in a little bit more. Let me just zoom out a little bit. I want to get a better picture over here. You see how quick this is, though, right? With Sage, I'd be here all day long retyping things and stuff. Here, I'm just using my mouse to go around it. And I can actually get the inspector out. And I'm going to do a little higher resolution on it. Continuous color. Yeah, nice picture. All right, be aware of that. Now, granted, I'm not saying one application is better than the other. I'm just saying it's nice to have some options. It really is. Now, by the way, when I compile this document, it also slows it down to do that. Let me just point out what I mean by that. Let me show you that. Right now, you notice I'm running the code right now. And what code am I running? This document here is about 150 pages long with a tremendous amount of Sage in it. And what it's doing is it's computing a tremendous amount of Sage, a tremendous amount of typesetting, but it's doing it all. And you notice it's working constantly on getting that done. And by the way, it just finished it. Running Sage, please wait a moment. Whoop, it didn't finish it. It was running Sage at that point. But again, you see this thing going on and on and on. And one thing nice about this over here is, some of these things are complicated. And again, I want to repeat this. I don't know enough about Sage to make this faster. All right? It's my own ignorance. Let's see when this thing's going to finish out, though, and then I'll stop. Well, Sage, that's Sage work it's doing. There it is. It's just finished. All right. Thank you so much for paying attention. I appreciate it.